Ability of being so incredibly hammy, so that was a great role for him.
That's where I remember him most.
From where?
Diane.
Uh-huh.
Did you see that?
Uh-huh.
I remember he was the villain.
He was in Ghostbusters.
He's a good actor.
He's a really funny guy.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Alan Rickman.
Okay, okay.
We enjoyed watching that.
Wasn't that good?
Yeah, it's very good.
Okay, okay, we're recording now, but all this I'm gonna cut
Okay,
out.
now you want me to look at you.
Well, we look at, yeah, look at me, look at the camera, you
Okay.
know, look around, we're just,
Okay.
okay? Hello, I'm Ralph Famigletti, and today is May 3rd, 2019. I'm here with longtime OLLI instructor, OLLI travel instructor, Diane Stone. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning, Ralph.
Diane, you teach travel from a first-person perspective. How did you, how, when, why did you get this traveling bug?
I was lucky. I got the travel bug when I was a kid. My parents took my sister and I on driving trips to Canada, to Florida in the 1950s. And I always just loved to go places.
Oh,
So it's been all time.
so this is like a lifetime.
Yes.
You know, you talk about a place like Versailles, like it was your daddy's summer cottage, and you've been there, every summer for all your life. How many times have you been to Versailles?
If I had to put a number on it, I'd say probably about 25 or 30.
Oh my goodness, it is your daddy's summer cottage.
If I'm anywhere in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
I'll always go.
Yeah. So you like Versailles? I mean, what is the? I mean, there's a million things about Versailles. What's the main thing that you're really? Is it the buildings, the water, the plants, the inside?
It's the person.
Oh.
It's Louis XIV. When I was I guess it was when I was in high school, that I learned about him for the first time. And, if I grew up in New York, and he was the original, go big or go home kind of guy. And I thought that what he did was amazing. His ideas were amazing. I majored in history in college, and I went to graduate school in history, and then I had the opportunity to do my master's thesis on Louis XIV and the building of Versailles. So, so I really got under the hood of the place, and I love it.
I heard a story, and that the sanitation there from that era was not that good there. The bathrooms and did you hear?
There was no sanitation.
Oh.
If anyone had ever taught all of us history,
Yeah.
with the ability to smell, we would have been appalled. People didn't even clean themselves terribly well, even if they were royalty. There just wasn't the equipment by which to do it. And they wore wigs because their hair never got washed, and they put lots of stuff on their
Is that why there's
skin.
all the flowers and gardens there to help kind of
With the
take out
smell.
Yeah.
They also used to dump human waste in streets.
But not at Versailles. I mean, they must have had a staff there of how many people?
Oh, probably thousands,
Yeah.
but still,
Yeah.
there wasn't, people used chamber pots, and you had servants that brought them and took them away. But it had to go somewhere.
Diane, I see we have our PowerPoint up for today. You spend a lot of time on your PowerPoint. It's very, very organized and detailed. You spend a lot of time prepping for it?
Yes, I do, and I've gotten into a rhythm. I've done this for enough years now that I am able to do one new course that I spend the summer putting together. So I've gotten into the rhythm of I do one new one a year, and then I repeat one from the year before. So it works out fine, but it is a great deal of work.
You've done a lot of research. one thing is you run a very open class, you know, anytime people have a question, you know, you're right there to answer them. And you always have all the answers, Diane. Yeah, you have all the right answers too, by the way. You're really, you know, very knowledgeable.
This is stuff I love.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. And what OLLI has given me the opportunity to do is teach again for the first time since I was in graduate school. And I like this so much more.
Well, you have a good relationship with your
Oh,
students,
yeah.
you know, I mean, you know, nobody, you know.
Well, you guys are all here because you want to be. You don't have to be. And that's a completely different feeling in a classroom. I'm here because I want to be. You guys are all here because you want to be. And it makes for a fun couple hours every week.
Diane, you've been around the world more times than the space station. Where are you going next?
Well, we actually have a lot in the hopper. But the next one coming up is a wedding in Tuscany at the end of June. And it'll actually give us the opportunity to spend a little bit of time in a part of Italy, in a city in Italy that we've never been to, which is Bologna.
Oh.
And I'm really kind of looking forward to that because we've got a couple of side trips planned that should be fun, and then we're going to go spend 4 days in London. Later in the summer, I'm taking a river cruise in Russia with my daughter.
Yeah.
In October, we're going to Egypt, Petra, and Israel. Next spring, we're finally going to Japan, which we've never been to.
Okay.
And then the icing on the cake is late December 2020. We're going for our second trip to Antarctica.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, you know, I'm taking a course on Italy with Nunzio, and he says if you go to Italy, he says, don't travel around. He says, stay in one area because there's just so much to see. Don't think you've got hit this spot. Is that pretty true?
There's a lot to be said for that kind of an approach. But usually what happens is if it's the first time you've ever gone, Italy's a great example.
Yeah.
If it's the first time in your whole life that you've ever gone to Italy, you're probably going to want to go to Rome, Florence, and Venice. Those three, if you're a first timer, are probably what you would choose. If you can stay away long enough, go rent a little house in a village and, you know, blend into the life of the village for a week or two. And that's way fun. So he's right.
Yeah. Diane, our class is starting up right now. Would you mind if I stay and filmed a little bit of your class?
No, that's fine.
Well, thank you so much for your
Thank you,
time,
Al.
and this was a great interview.
Good.
Okay. Now, Diane, if you're thinking about what we talked about and you want to do it after class and do it, and this seemed great to me, we're very relaxed. Yeah, but if you wanted to do it again, we just
No,
do it.
that's fine.
There's no film or nothing. I mean,
That's
okay,
fine.
let me put this back. See, the camera's still running now, but this will all be cut out.
That's fine. I've done heavy-duty interviews related to my work, so I don't get scared